Shout out to S Mac. What's up, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of Kev Mac Videos. Today we'll be talking about the Black Beverly Hills.
For the dime moves and the lokes, for the 6-4s on spokes, for the OGs that did a dime, came back around on parole, for the homegirls with the scrap game, little homies that gang bang, from Pelican Bay to YA, rearrange your mind frame. Yeah, I know what you've been through, shit you had to go tend to. Your mama gave birth on the turf. I
was the founder. I created Conan Pocket in my mother's garage.
I had a lot of, lifting weights, and I was on swole. They start calling me Big Miz.
Kev Mac videos, you know this is for sure. Kev Mac videos, open your soul.
This is only the beginning.
Depending whom you speak to, some people will tell you West Adams is the original Black Beverly Hills. Others will tell you Leimert Park. Most people will say Baldwin Hills, Crenshaw. I'm going to break down View Park, Windsor Hills, and tell you what all these sections have in common. These communities in the hills of South Los Angeles were once part of the Rancho La Cienega o Paso de la Tierra, eventually owned by the Randy Wiley 19th century LA pioneer Elias Lucky Baldwin. In the early 20th century, these lawless, uninhabited hills were best known for the rough and tumble oil derricks that punctured the land, and conflicts between various syndicates to control the oil fields. With its reputation as a dump site for notorious murders, peat fires, and a narcotic ring meetup place, the area appeared to have had a wild side to it. However, this did not deter developers. During the boom time of the 1920s, they began to eye the hills, which offered panoramic views and perfect placement between Los Angeles proper, Santa Monica, and the South Bay. In 1927, the Los Angeles Times reported on the development of the new neighborhood of View Park. The unique location of View Park is just 5 minutes away from LA International Airport. Downtown Los Angeles is a 30-minute drive. That's with traffic, y'all. That's with traffic. The mall is within walking distance to residents. That would be the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza and the Fox Hills Mall, which is now Westfield. And the marina and several beaches are only 5 to 10 miles away. In 1932, a different kind of planned community appeared in the Baldwin Hills off of West Vernon Place above Crenshaw Boulevard. It was the first Olympic village in modern times, featuring more than 500 temporary homes for more than 1,000 male athletes from 50 countries. Spread over 331 acres, each 2-room bungalow was cooled by sea breezes. Athletes could patronize the dining halls, post office, bank, and hospital units set up in the mock village, while sleeping in beds custom made for athletic bodies and eating at tables made of California redwood. Crowds would gather outside the gates, eager to catch a glimpse of the athletes that lived there. Immediately following the Olympics, all traces of the village were quickly removed and more permanent structures came to dominate Baldwin Hills. The developers, including the Los Angeles Investment Company and the Baldwin Hills Company, began to develop homes on the hill. Here's a 1941 news article from a local newspaper talking about how Windsor Hills construction was rushing to put up homes. So many doctors moved into the neighborhood that it became known as Peel Hill. The completion of the towering 19-acre Baldwin Hills Reservoir in 1951 only accelerated development, with many young families, professors, and business owners moving into the sprawling one-story ranch and modern homes proliferating in the hills. As long as you haven't been hiding under a rock in America for the last couple decades, you know how this story turns out. The almost exclusively white neighborhoods in the Baldwin Hills slowly began to change in the 1950s after the Supreme Court struck down enforcement of racially restricted covenants in 1948. This enabled prosperous black families forced to live in areas primarily surrounding Central Avenue to move into neighborhoods with amenities and opportunities they had until recently been denied. View Park was one of the first neighborhoods to become integrated, and that was in the early 1950s. According to some, the area owes its significance to a complicated racial history. At its inception, anyone not of the Caucasian race was forbidden from owning or occupying properties in View Park due to racial deed restrictions. The first black family was a jazz pianist named Art Tatum and his wife. The white children thought that was fabulous. They would sit on the curb and listen to Art practice. Soon, predatory real estate agents were convincing white homeowners it was time to leave the neighborhood before their property value plummeted due to their new black neighbors. During these times, most blacks lived in the Crenshaw district near downtown Los Angeles and in Watts and Compton, according to the Los Angeles Community Development Department. By 1980, however, primarily black areas of Los Angeles County had expanded west past Inglewood and north past Culver City into the Windsor district, bordering West Hollywood and Beverly Hills. The 1920 subdivision of View Park earned its nickname, the Black Beverly Hills, by becoming one of the largest, wealthiest, and most architecturally distinct black neighborhoods in Los Angeles. View Park remained largely white into the 1960s, and then the first wave of prosperous black families arrived. Lawyers, doctors, and business people began to integrate the neighborhood. As blacks moved in, whites fled, leaving 2,500 to 5,000 square foot homes, some with maid quarters, swimming pools, and backyard views of downtown, Hollywood, and the Pacific. In 1969, the young black kids at Windsor Hills Elementary School scored the highest in IQ across the nation, leaving people to wonder if affluence was the reason. Windsor Hills is located on the city side of the beautiful Baldwin Hills, north of Slauson Avenue, and west of Overhill. To go along with a long list of doctors and lawyers and dentists that lived in these neighborhoods, I'm going to name a list of celebrities, but I can't name them all. In no particular order, Ray Charles. Ray and his family moved up there in the mid-1960s. Berry Gordy, Ike and Tina Turner. They had a beautiful house on Olympia Drive. Bobby Day. Bobby Day sang hit songs like Rockin' Robin, Over and Over, Little Bitty Pretty One, The Harlem Shuffle, The Bluebird, The Buzzard, and the Oreo. Oh man, Bobby Day was the man. Curtis Blow. These are the breaks. We're playing basketball. Norm Nixon. His wife Debbie Allen. Curtis actually purchased the house that was owned by Norm Nixon and Debbie Allen. And NBA player Reggie Theus lived on the same block. Regina King, Nia Long, Ice Cube, Ice-T, Michael Cooper, Meghan Markle, John Singleton, Mayor Tom Bradley, Chief Bernard Parks, Judge Scarlett, NBA center Benoit Benjamin. Tootie Reese had a spot up there. He was known as one of the largest drug kingpins in all of Los Angeles. Some say Harry O. Motor Mouse, a Rolling 60s CCO. Jim Gilliam, famous LA Dodger baseball player. A local hustler, Billy Waco. Fast Eddie, not too far away. There are a lot more athletes, celebrities, rich and famous that I didn't mention, but these are some of the names that S-Mac outlined on this map of the area. At some point, you have to wonder how the gangs affected this black utopia. It's like so many rolling 60s lived in and around these areas in which I just talked about. In Monster Cody's autobiography, he talks about one guy named Kenny Mitchell of the Rolling 60s robbing the Commodores. And then you also have the black pea stones beneath the Baldwin Hills in Baldwin Village. Windsor Hills View Park to the rolling 60s, Baldwin Hills to the jungle, is what the Playboy gangsters are to West LA, Venice showlines to Venice, Graveyard to Santa Monica, and so on and so forth. You have pockets of LA like the 20s that are right next to rich or wealthy black residents as well as white residents. In 2016, View Park was added to the National Register of Historic Places due to its ethnic heritage and architectural integrity. What we are now witnessing in the 2020s are white folks are coming back to the land that they once owned, which we view as historically black neighborhoods. That's going to do it for this edition of Kev Mac Videos. Be sure to hit the like button. Don't be afraid to leave a comment. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe.